Good Saturday evening, everybody. It's Meteorologist Diana Rodriguez here live from the TV6 newsroom, and I just wanted to go on here and kind of give you guys a little weather update on what we're going to be tracking as we get into tomorrow and even on Monday. But before I dive deep into it, I do want to give some people some time to hop on our live stream on Facebook and our social media here across the area. Hopefully you guys have been having, a great time. I'm sure all the days have been blending in here across the area because, well, I mean, it's been Christmas Eve and then we had Christmas and then we had our Friday yesterday, today or Saturday, and I'm sure it's felt like a Saturday here the last couple of days. So hopefully you guys have all had time to hang out with your family, your loved ones, and well, your family here across the area. Okay, let's I think we should get started and do a little bit of a live look on what we're seeing right now. So, I mean, it's been more than evident we've been dealing with a lot of fog the last couple of days, and unfortunately we're still going to continue with these conditions. Here, let me get these graphics started. All right, so let's take a look outside of what we're seeing, our First Alert camera network. So here in the Quad Cities, I mean, the visibility is starting to go down. I mean, from the 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. newscast when we were talking about weather, the visibility was pretty we were able to see a lot of the city lights, but I mean, if you look at Burlington, already starting to see that fog just start to thicken up, and even in Dubuque. So we're not really going to be getting much relief from that here as we get into the overnight hours. So we do have First Alert days again for that dense fog, and then as we get into tomorrow, a system. So we're talking about two waves that are going to be moving in. The first one coming in during the morning hours, and then as we get into the evening, that strong cold front that's going to be moving in, that's going to be bringing us from some snow, some freezing rain, some very gusty winds here, and temperatures, boy, finally the January temperatures here across the area. So that is what we're going to be tracking here. We do have a First Alert day in effect from now until noon tomorrow for the widespread dense fog that will be thickening up, like I just mentioned here, over the late night hours. Visibility is going to be down anywhere from 1/4 of a mile or less, and then we were talking about it being areas along and north of Interstate 80. I wouldn't be surprised if this does get extended for most of the TV6 viewing area, in which we're already starting to see that. I mean, every county west of the Mississippi River is already under a dense fog advisory, including Rock Island County until noon tomorrow. So if you are going to be heading out, I mean, it's only, let's see, 7:29 p.m. Definitely want to take it slow. Give yourself some extra time. Again, it's not going to be the next couple of days, or not going to be one of those where you definitely want to be rushing as you're out the door. If we take a look at visibility, it's more than evident. It's very hard to see out there. I mean, in Mount Pleasant right now, no visibility, along with Burlington, Dubuque, and we actually noticed that when we saw those cams that I showed you at the beginning. And then if it's pretty patchy on areas west of the east of the Mississippi River around Kewanee. I mean, visibility right there, 10 out of 10. We like to see that, but we want to see that 10 out of 10 here all across. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing that here until we get into tomorrow, but then that's going to be bringing us, well, some active weather. Let's take a look in Burlington, my friends. Take it slow out there. Look at the cam. It's very, very foggy out there, and it's only going to continue to thicken up. Dubuque as well. I mean, we can still see a little bit of those lights, but you can definitely see that fog there reflecting off those lights from the buildings, those city lights here. Okay, so enough about the fog. I'm sure a lot of us definitely want to know what is going to go on tomorrow. I mean, I'm sure that's the talk of the town. A lot of people are going to be traveling. So it's usually around the springtime when we talk about severe weather outlooks, or at least show you these kinds of graphics. So as of now, the TV6 viewing area is not under any kind of marginal risk for tomorrow, but just right off of the viewing area, you could see central and most of the entire state of Illinois is under, well, that marginal level 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather, along with most of Indiana and, well, part of Missouri. So what does that mean for us? I'm not going to lie, I really do believe that this could shift for maybe areas here south of the Quad Cities, or maybe those southern counties around Knox County. Let's see what else, Warren and Henderson. But of course, a lot can and will change here over the late night hours, and even as we get into tomorrow morning. So let's kind of plan out what we're seeing here on exact track. So right now, very evident that we're getting a lot of that flow here from the south. I mean, as soon as you walk out the door, that fog is noticeable. Those winds, not as strong yet, but it's not as cold as it usually is around this time of year. So we're going to be dealing with a lot of that cloud cover here over the late night hours, along with those winds here from the south. That's going to allow for all of that moisture, all those ingredients that we need here in order to give us, well, the kind of precipitation that we're expecting expected to get here throughout tomorrow morning, afternoon, evening, and then even a few flakes as we get into our Monday. So this is around 1 a.m. We're going to still be a little bit quiet. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe some of us do get some spotty showers, some drizzle like we had the last couple of days. Around 4 or 5 a.m., that is when the first wave starts to move through areas south of the Quad Cities. So anywhere from Princeton, Kewanee, Muscatine, Burlington, Galesburg will all be starting off to a pretty wet start around 5 a.m., 4, 5, 6 a.m. Around Mount Pleasant, we start to see some of those lighter colors that we usually start to see when, maybe some stronger storms could be embedded in there. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe things do start to be a little loud around Mount Pleasant around 5, 6 a.m. Around 7 a.m., a lot of these storms, the system does seem to strengthen here for parts of the area. So you can see around Mount Pleasant again, Burlington, Galesburg, Kewanee, Princeton. You're seeing some of those shaded, the color yellow, that shaded region, along with a little bit of those oranges. That is kind of a little bit more where we start to, kind of be a little bit more concerned. Like, what is going on? What's going to be strengthening? Now, we do have the moisture. The winds will be picking up here throughout the day. We'll have a lot of those ingredients that are necessary for us to maybe, have a pretty strong storm. Around 11 a.m., the system continues and it does seem to strengthen here, especially off of the TV6 viewing area. So want to keep our eyes on that, because if that does shift, that could end up in our county. And of course, we don't want severe weather. You can see that around 11 a.m. around, Scott County, south of Clinton County, and around Muscatine County, part of Cedar. Well, we're seeing some of the yellow, the orange, and even some red. Of course, that could mean a little bit of a stronger storm. Now, if something does fire up, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we do see some low-level rotation here for parts of the area. I think it was 2 weeks ago when I was working. I remember it was myself, meteorologist Kyle Keel, and I think it was Kyle Keel and Kevin Phelps, and we were all looking, and then just a lot was starting to fire up. Oh no, it was meteorologist Kyle Dickens, and we saw some tornado warnings to the south. So I hope this is not necessarily a surprise. I mean, here in the Midwest, we do get just about everything and anything. I mean, think about it. Tomorrow we're going to be seeing this, and then that's going to be transitioning into some freezing rain and even a little bit of some snow as well. But if this does happen, I wouldn't rule out the possibility for us to maybe see some gusty winds and, some heavy downpours, an isolated tornado. I really do think that more isolated tornado could be down to the south, not necessarily in our viewing area, but of course, you still want to be weather aware, and you still want to remember, hey, where's the safe spot just in case something does pop off here across the area. As beginning to around 1, 2 p.m. here, according to this radar, we'll still be holding on to some spotty showers, and that's when we start to then see that strong cold front start to move through the area. That's then going to transition that rain into some freezing rain, and then we will start to see some of that snow around the evening hours. Now, as far as accumulations go here for us, some of us north of the Quad Cities around Joe Davies, Jackson, Clinton, Carroll, you guys could be seeing some accumulations of anywhere from 1 to 2 inches, 3 at most. It just depends on, how the system does shift through. Areas down to the south, maybe a little bit of a light dusting. I don't anticipate for us to get something pretty widespread as far as some snow, just given the temperatures that we've been, dealing with the last couple of days and most of the week. And I mean, it's been pretty warm here, especially for the southern counties with temperatures, and even overnight into the 50s. I mean, yesterday morning, we were talking about how it was 53 degrees. I think it was in Galesburg or one of the southern counties. And I mean, that's pretty warm. I mean, especially for this time of year. So I don't really anticipate for any major accumulations overall, but of course that is still going to cause, some chaos, and everybody's going to be traveling. We still want everybody to take it slow. Now, not only are we going to be dealing with that, but then those temperatures that are also going to be dropping very quickly, in those winds. I mean, they're very noticeable here on Exact Track, how strong they're going to be coming from the north. So we're talking about winds that are shifting as of now. They're coming from the south, and then they're quickly going to be shifting from the north. With how strong they're going to be, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we do have some flash freeze warnings here across the area. Definitely want to make sure you have everything ready to go tomorrow, from those snow shovels, not necessarily those, but ice melts, all that salt, everything you need, because we could get a little bit slick tomorrow. So definitely going to affect the commute if you are going to maybe have plans for tomorrow or traveling, and even as you get into Monday. So then we will have another first alert day in effect from 2 p.m. until 6 p.m. on Monday. We're also going to have a wind advisory that's going to be in effect from 2 p.m. until 6 p.m. on Monday. So we kind of have that first alert day going for not only the winds, but I mean, we're going to be transitioning from some rain, and then the temperatures are going to be dropping, those blustery winds. We're going to have a little bit of everything. With everybody traveling for the holidays, we want everybody to be safe. So yes, this will be definitely something that's going to make an impact. And then there's that wind advisory that I was talking. It's going to be pretty widespread, not just the TV6 viewing area, but we're talking parts of Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, and even into Wisconsin, believe it or not. Winds could be anywhere from 20 to 30 miles per hour with some gusts up to 45 and even 50 at most, but it's going to be a windy one. So make sure you have all those holiday decorations secure. And well, I wouldn't be surprised if some power outages do occur. I mean, those temperatures will be plummeting. Look at the wind forecast as we get into tomorrow at 9 a.m. I mean, we're still going to get those winds from the south. System starts to move in, and then look at that, some sharp gusts here from the north, very cold. I mean, up to 40 miles per hour. It does seem that over the late night hours, that's when the strongest is going to be, and of course we don't want those strong gusts over the late night hours. The temperatures are dropping, and then those power outages. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't like the cold. I like to sleep comfortable at night, and I'm sure a lot of my coworkers around me right here could agree on that. But yeah, we just want everybody to definitely take it careful, weather aware, of course, and take a look at those temperatures. I mean, we're going to be dealing with all kinds of weather. We're going from the 40s and making it into the 50s, mid 50s here for some of us. And then when that front, you could see from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., or excuse me, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., we go from 40 to 24 degrees, and then we go into the mid-teens, and then the feels like below zero. So that is our next challenge that we're going to have to face. Not only those temperatures, but what it's going to feel like come Monday morning. I mean, we're talking sub-zero wind chill values. It's going to feel like it's -9 degrees in Burlington, -10 in Muscatine, -12 in Iowa City, 18 degrees below in Dubuque. Oh my goodness, very, very cold. Definitely Alaska kind of temperatures around here, and feels like not my kind of weather. Unfortunately, I mean, January's just right around the corner. I can't even believe that. I mean, we're talking about January being right around the corner, but it's that time of year, so I mean, I'm not surprised that we're dealing with these temperatures. And also I'm not surprised that we're dealing with severe weather. When we do get those fronts come through and those temperatures start to warm up, and then we have these major cool downs, we get just a little bit about anything. So while we're going to be dealing with some active weather as far as some storms, believe it or not, in Wisconsin they'll be dealing with some winter weather advisories and all kinds of weather in that source. So feels like cast again, we're not really going to be seeing much improvement Monday morning, excuse me, but that leads me to that 7-day forecast. After we get rid of this active weather here tomorrow and through Monday, on Tuesday, things seem to be a little bit more brighter. I don't know about you, but I love the sunshine here, especially around this time of year. Definitely puts me in a much better mood. Not that I'm not, but I mean, we don't like gloomy weather, and those temperatures already are not comfortable. So could be seeing some sunshine as we get into Tuesday. Of course, those clouds will stick around with temperatures in the 30s. We'll be ending the year with partly sunny conditions and temperatures in around freezing level, around 32 degrees. And then kicking off a new year, windy with temperatures in the 20s, 26 for a high next Friday. And then we're tracking another system as we get into next weekend. So, of course, I don't want to dive into next weekend just yet because a lot can and will change. But, of course, we want everybody to be weather aware. I know the holidays are here and everyone's going to be traveling here as we get into the next couple of days. So make sure you download the KWQC First Alert Weather app if you haven't. I mean, we use it all the time. I know I have it here myself, whether you have an iPhone, an Android. I'm trying to think what other kind of phone. Download it on your iPad, your computers, whatever could be, download it. We do a pretty good job here, myself and the entire weather team, to make sure we update it as much as we can here with the latest forecast. I do want to get on Facebook here and check, if you guys have any questions. So feel free to ask any questions. What's on your mind about the system. Of course, I know you probably have, a lot of us have family from out of town, and we want everybody to make it, safe to their destination. And, here in the Midwest, we get just about everything. I mean, tomorrow we'll be dealing with, I feel like, 4 seasons in one day, theoretically. So, let's see. Riley said, hi, hope you're having a good evening. I hope you're having a good evening as well. What are the current risks for the first alert day? So currently we have a first alert day in effect for a dense fog advisory. So we saw here that areas west of the Quad Cities are all, or west of the Mississippi River, excuse me, are under a dense fog advisory. So just like the last couple of days, we are going to continue to have, well, that thick fog here that's going to cause visibility to be very low here across the area. Sherry said, thank you so much, Sherry. I love working with everyone here on the weather team. They do such a great job. You know, they help me out a lot, and we all work together well as a team. What is the weather looking like for the rest of the winter and any major winter storms? As far as any major winter storms, I'm not seeing anything major as of right now. I'm not saying it can't and will not happen. I haven't necessarily looked, you know, weeks in advance to see what we're tracking, but of course, a lot can and it will change. I think that's something I think that's my phrase to go to, because we could have something happen one day and then completely change. I think right now the next significant big weather maker will be tomorrow, of course, as it's very close. I'm not seeing anything too major for next weekend, but I don't anticipate for that to change just right now. It just depends on, you know, what we have here present as far as like the temperatures, the ingredients, and what's going on off in the West Coast, because a lot of our weather, yes, it comes off from the Pacific and then it moves through the Rockies, and then, you know, whatever ingredients we have here in the Midwest, we kind of just all overplay, and then that's kind of how we get our big weather makers. So keeping a close eye on that, but as of now, I'm not seeing anything major besides what we have going on tomorrow. Let's see. How is Bettendorf? Bettendorf is in Scott County, so yes, visibility will be low here as we get through the overnight hours due to, yes, that dense fog advisory, and we're already starting to notice that. We saw that here on our cam here in Bettendorf, so definitely want to take it slow if you're going to be heading out. Clinton as well, definitely want to take it slow. Visibility was very low there, and we're going to continue with that even as we get into tomorrow morning. Okay, so someone is asking, how strong are the winds going to be tomorrow morning and afternoon? Actually, the winds are not going to be too bad here tomorrow morning. They will still be coming here from the south-southeast, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour. But as we get into the afternoon and evening hours, that is when they start to pick up, when we have that front move through. So winds will then be shifting from the southeast to the north, and then they'll pick up. Gusts could be up to 35 miles per hour, even 45, and in some isolated areas up to 50. So definitely will be a pretty gusty one. How much snow is expected? We're not expecting any major accumulations. I do believe the areas north of the Quad Cities could be seeing anywhere from 1 to 2 inches. But as far as any major accumulations south of the Quad Cities or even here in the area, I really do think it'll be a little bit of a dusting. A lot of it does depend on, I mean, the temperatures that we've had lately and where exactly, how the front moves through. And it does seem like areas north, according to all the radar, all the models that we've seen, will get a little bit more of that heavier part of the system as far as snow accumulations. What's tomorrow's forecast? Tomorrow's forecast is going to be, we're going to be getting all kinds of weather, from rain, widespread rain in the morning hours, to then some embedded thunderstorms. Some it could be a little bit on the stronger side, so definitely want to make sure you are aware of that. And then once that first wave moves through the area, we'll get our second system, and then that's when that cold front moves through. That rain will then be transitioning into snow. We could be seeing a little bit of some freezing rain, and of course, that is why we have that first alert day, because the temperatures are also going to be dropping. Those winds are going to be picking up, and I wouldn't be surprised if in some areas, even on some roads, they could become a little bit slick. We could see some of that ice due to how quickly those temperatures go from being very warm and mild to now very, very cold and sub-zero wind chills. All right. I'm not seeing any more questions. Let's see. All right, I'm not seeing any more questions. So we will be on tonight at 10 p.m. myself and Chandler, and of course we will continue to update you here with the latest forecast. A lot can and will change, but make sure you download the KWQC First Alert Weather app so that we can keep you guys up to date here with the latest. A lot will change as we get into tomorrow, but definitely get ready for some active weather here as we get through our Monday evening.